Alright guys, here in Chandler, Arizona, and we're at a commercial building. We have a, let's see if we turn this fan on. There we go. Hear me a little bit better here. So this commercial building, we actually rent from, or the building where we rent from, they manage a ton of commercial property, and so this is just one of the properties that they manage. And at this one, they have, let's see if we can get a little bit of better light on this. They have an angle stop that is, it's not shutting off, and this fill valve, when I got here, they had this seat sitting, or the tank lid sitting on the fill valve to try to keep it down, because apparently it kind of exploded, or looks like it broke here, spraying water everywhere. It just kind of clips back on, but it might have actually broke off. So we're not going to rebuild the toilet or replace anything on the toilet, because we're actually going to replace this toilet, because we already pulled and reset the toilet once before, and there's a small break underneath it, and so it keeps on leaking at the base. And so yeah, we already got the water shut off. They already had it shut off when I got here. So we're at the lowest point right now, so I'm gonna see if we can catch most of this water if possible. Yeah, see, we're at a we'll just have to shop back it up. It's no big deal. They already have these fans going. Yep, see, the angle stop's just broken. That's what it is. It like turns off, but it doesn't. Pretty strange. So here's what we'll do. We'll just keep it under control. It looks like it's draining out pretty good out of the sink there. So we'll just see if we can pull it back a little bit and let some of that water drain into our bucket here. Already got all these other, see, it's just it became a push-pull. So that's how we'll drain it down. We'll just have to do that bit by bit. That's the way plumbing goes sometimes, especially the kind of service plumbing that we do. It's not always ideal conditions sometimes. So you just gotta work around what you got. That's the way it goes. So we'll catch as much water as we can. Turn these fans back on, it'll dry it out all up in no time. It's not really that much water anyway. Yeah, it's really hard to find a good bucket to fit underneath this, underneath an angle stop. That's the hard part. You see some people using the oil pan, pans, the drain pans, or something like that, but I mean, you could also cut, so you could hear that air. You can hear the air in the sink sucking through the aerator. You just gotta make sure you drain it all down so you don't get shot in the face with it. So, no big deal. Let it all drain down, and then we'll work on getting it off of there. And if you notice about this angle stop in particular, this is actually a one-piece angle stop. So you have to replace the braided hose on it as well, because this one has an integral brass hose on it. So you have to replace the flex hose on it. There's no other way. So that's what we're going to do. We brought a flex hose along with us, so they're going to replace that as well. So we'll get that all replaced here. Let that drain down completely. Looks like we're almost there. We'll break this loose. Sometimes this connection here, sometimes it's a little bit tough or a little bit tight. That thing's definitely broken. Alright, so we're going to use crescent wrenches. It's always the easiest. And we're going to put the one here, put the other here. But let's wait till all that water gets out of there. You like to use the bigger one to back something up and then the smaller one to actually do the turning. And your leverage is always going to be best when the wrenches are sort of lined up with each other. If you try to do this long butterfly type thing where they're real far apart, you're going to have some big pecs or some big, I mean, you have to use a lot of strength to do it. You know, it's a really tough position to use wrenches in. So the wrenches should always be touching each other, and they should always be facing opposite, and they should be almost at the same angle to each other. There we go. And you have to use very little torque to get it off. Make it easy on yourself. Use the tools the way that they're supposed to be used instead of fighting them and you know, making it hard on yourself. So once we get this off, first we're going to get the nut off, and then we're going to check the ferrule and kind of see how it looks and see how we look. I'm always in the habit of replacing the nut and ferrule no matter what, no matter how they look, but I'm always curious to see how who put this thing on. Arnold Schwarzenegger tightened this thing down so that everybody could see how strong he was. You know, tighten the whole thing down like he was crushing it to death sometimes. Okay, so we got that off. Yep, and you can tell that's what it looks like. It's just a one piece. There's a welded seam right there, so you can't take this off and you can't adapt to it. So we'll toss that to the side, and then we'll just kind of take a look at our nut, and it does look like it. Does look like it was crushed a little bit. So let's see if we can use our old trick to just kind of turn it and pull while you turn. See if you can get it off of here. Probably done with that, I think. Just put a rag under there. So just very gently turn it. You don't want to turn it, you don't want to crush it too tight, because then it'll turn into an oval and it just won't come off. So it looks like it is coming off. Just gotta be careful and slow with it. Take your time. But it looks like it's coming off. There we go. There we go. Came right off. So now we're gonna feel it. Feels like it's a little bit pitted. So what I'll do, see if we can get a light on that. I got this stupid flashlight again. There we go. It's a really good mag light, but you can kind of see the lines on there, the grooves. It's kind of pitted a little bit. So we're going to try and cut most of that area off if we can. Man, this is a really expensive mag light too. I think it's the battery. I keep telling myself it's the battery, but I don't know. I mean, I've changed it and it doesn't seem, maybe it's the light bulb. I'm not really sure, but let's see if we can get a little bit better of an angle here. Okay, so that's why I brought these mini cutters, trusty mini cutters. We're going to cut back a little bit here, a little bit further back, and try and take some of this off so that when we do adapt to it, when we do adapt to it, we're not adapting right in the same position and dig that same spot in even deeper. We're going to cut a little bit further back and try and tie onto a better part of it, make it a little easier for us. So we're going to cut back, oh, probably about right there. There we go. Looks like we got most of it off of there. Maybe I'll show you guys this after, unless you can really see it. Looks like it was dug in pretty good. And that shiny line right in the middle, the top side is the part that was crushed in. You can kind of see it almost looks like a reducer coupling, and it's crushed. So we want to make sure we have a good portion to tie onto. So we're going to sand this off so we can really see what it looks like. Make sure that we're nice and shiny and nice and smooth to tie onto. And if we are, then we're going to start making our connection. Make sure our quarter turn angle stop is good to go. Yep, and you can see there's no dark line or dark groove. So we know we don't have any grooves on our copper that we're going to connect to. Otherwise it'd be a dark line where the sandpaper didn't reach. So we look like we're good to go there. So we're gonna, let's see, just kind of all right. So, just going to dry this area off a little bit. So we've got our nut, our brand new nut. We're going to slide that sucker on. Make sure we got enough clearance. We're going to slide our ferrule on, and we're just going to put this in dry. Make sure that it seats all the way back, and we have no problem with it. Sometimes if it's too close, if this is too close, and you barely are tied on by a thread, you don't want that to happen. So, just like all of them, everybody's got their own opinions about this, but like I've explained many, many times over, I like to use some joint compound, and like I've said before, this is not necessary. In a perfect world, you should be able to just tighten down a compression fitting, and it should just tighten down, and the ferrule should be enough. This is to prevent screeching and friction. It removes all the friction from it squealing like a pig when you're tightening it down, just like anything, just like WD-40, just like anything. It's not to help it seal necessarily, because the ferrule can do that. This is just to help it prevent it from squealing like a pig, and you can always wipe it clean, so it's okay. I just try hard not to get any on the inside and not to get a lot caked on there, just simply because you can clog a fill valve that way, because this is not the same as faucet grease. Faucet grease is non-hardening and it's water soluble. This is not non-hardening and this is not water soluble. So you really want to be careful with how much of this you use and how you use it. So just tighten it by hand there first. Make sure we're upright. And then we'll work on tightening it down. And like I said, I know I'm going to get comments that are going to say, oh, why'd you use that? I can't believe you used pipe dope on compression. I would never let you come to my house. Well, it's okay. I don't need to go to your house. I got work coming out of my ears for 10 guys or whatever, 12 guys. So it's okay, you know. I mean, but you just need to know that I'm not crazy. I am a licensed plumber. So if somebody feels like you don't need this, I'm going to need to see their plumbing license if they're going to have any credibility with me whatsoever. Otherwise, it's just hot air and it's just an opinion. So I believe it does help, and it's always helped me, and so that's the reason why I continue to use it. But like I said, you do have to be careful with how much of it you use, though. You can't just go nuts with using as much as you want. You need to be careful, because it does it will clog ports. So let's Let's see if we can get this angle right. See if we can hold that. Losing the grip on that a little bit. See if I can get it from the other direction. There we go. There we go. And that's in there. So now, I didn't want to go another quarter turn. I know I could have, but I didn't. I got it just tight enough where I needed it. Wipe it clean. Make sure that we're good, and we'll turn it off. And now we're going to go start cracking the water on. And let's make sure that we're not leaking first. So let's go start cracking the water on. So we can hear that. We can hear all that air pushing out of there. So that's a good sign. So we're going to keep it there, make sure we don't have any leaks. So this is the faucet. There we go. So now let's head out here. Turn it on a little bit more. Yeah, sometimes these videos, they can be tough to make. You know, a lot of people are hard on you when you're making these videos, but it's like the job, it's easy to do the job. Sometimes it's hard to do both though. To film. Oh, it looks like the water heater maybe has a sometimes it's hard to do that and film and do the job. And you're trying to do quality both, you know, but if something's going to have to give, you can't do subpar work. You have to do subpar filming. It's the only way. That's the only way I can put it. Since you can't do substandard work, sometimes you just have to do substandard filming. There's no other way around it. Do you have a little water heater up there? They got a water heater somewhere. I don't know where it is. Something's spitting some water out though. Let's go see. Oh, okay. It's stopping. It's almost stopped. And it will stop. Once the temperature starts and it heats up, it's going to expand and put some pressure on that spring probably. And it's got a long distance too. It was spilling out of there. I think it's probably okay now. Let's wait a little bit. But it looks like our angle stop is probably good. So hopefully you guys like these videos. Sometimes they're difficult to make and I just enjoy doing it. I know it's a lot of the same thing sometimes, but you could probably get something out of every video, I guess, if you tried. So let's see. Let's make sure that we're good. Yep, our angle stop looks good. So now we're going to connect braided hose here, and like in all the videos, we always use a steel nut. We never use a plastic nut on a toilet supply line because that's a very, very common place for leak. So we never ever use a plastic supply line ever. Sometimes if it's there and it looks good and the customer doesn't want to replace it, we'll just reconnect it, but we don't actually put them in. We don't carry them on the trucks and the guys don't install them new. Everything we put in is all with a steel nut. So just so that if they do need to use the toilet, they can. We'll make sure to just connect it for them. They can turn it on and off if they need to use it, or just use a bucket of water or something. I think this is another construction place, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So that's how you easily replace an angle stop the right way. Thanks a lot for watching.